Hey everybody, welcome to Camel City Chat. I got a great interview for you today. My guest is so well known, I don't even want to say who it is. I just want to ask them the first question. You guys know what it is. Where are you from and how long you been here? Hey everybody, welcome to Camel City Chat. I'm John McPherson and I am here with Sammy Gianopoulos.
Hello, John.
Did I get it?
Perfect.
All right. Otherwise known as the rest of the interview, Sammy G. Multi-unit restaurateur of the year. What is this?
So I won a national award this past year.
Right.
I was nominated a few years ago, a few times, and great honor. Previous winners: Angus Barn owners, Wolfgang Puck, Charlie Trotter.
Nobody we've ever heard of.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool to have my name on that list.
Right.
There were 6 of us picked from different categories throughout the country.
Right.
And the winner, there was actually 3 people in Winston-Salem with North Carolina ties.
Okay.
The Golden Corral CEO won the Golden Plate.
Okay.
Which was the overall award. And the president of Checkers lives in Banner Elk and is in Winston-Salem all the time. So I thought it was pretty cool. When they heard Winston-Salem, they're like, well, we know exactly where that's at. So it was fun.
Now, has Sam Ballas won that? I mean, because I know you're buddies. Do you like walk in and go, what do you? All right, so let's really start our interview here. All right, we're just
You're going to get me in trouble.
No. All right, so, as you know from your buddy Sam doing it, first question is always, where are you from and how long you been in Winston-Salem?
Perfect. So born and raised here in Winston-Salem my whole life.
Okay.
I left a few years, went to college.
Where'd you go?
Johnson & Wells in Charleston, South Carolina.
Heard of that one.
So I was there for about a year and a half. From there, I went to Asheville, North Carolina.
Right.
Where I met my wife and I moved back home. So born and raised, educated, through elementary to high school. Graduated from R.J. Reynolds right down the road, 97.
And of course, your principal, we were just talking about Stan, passed away.
A very big mentor and very, you'd get in trouble with Stan and he wouldn't, you'd get in trouble instead of Stan, disciplining you, he would talk to you as a person.
Right.
And that was just unbelievable to me.
He told us about, in the interview, he told us, and I don't know how we're going to air this. You're supposed to be the week after Stan, but obviously with that, we're waiting to talk to his family. So it may be that we just aired it, or it may be that it's coming. But he talked to us a little bit about how he would take each class and sit down with like 100 or 200 students and just go, all right, so let's talk about how this is going to happen. He also told us about the fact that some kids, the only mistake they really ever made was they got in a fight and were on his car. He's like, I love that car, and they fought on my car.
Interesting.
Yeah,
he was a great man. I went to Bishop McGinnis for 2 years before that.
Good education there.
Great education, and I left there and went to Reynolds, and he welcomed us. He was one of the first persons to welcome us to Reynolds. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So he'll be missed, not just to me, but to this community.
It's I had a friend of mine that works in central office because we had just dropped Tricia McManus's interview, and his wife works in the central office. He called me up and he said, "Did you hear this?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't." And it's one of those. Yeah, it's kind of like the attorney that passed away, and then they're just they're people that are just so much of an influence of our city.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
So that's that's the downside. Hopefully the rest will be smiling and kidding around and stuff. But I did want to, when you said that you'd gone to Reynolds, I knew that he was your principal, and when I got here, you'd told me that. It definitely changed Wednesday for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so you got a wife, obviously. You got kids?
Yeah, I got a junior at West Forsyth, Roxanne, and a daughter. A daughter, Roxanne, at West Forsyth,
right.
And a wife, Yota Gianopoulos. She's from Asheville, North Carolina.
Right.
I met her while I was a chef at the Biltmore Estate.
Okay, so that's something that I didn't know. So we got to come back to that now.
Right.
This is interesting. I knew that you had done some stuff with what you said with Johnson Wales, but you didn't mention it was a Biltmore Estate. So we got to find out about the Cecil family then, right?
Yeah.
So then the next question is, and this is a really hard question for you. What's your favorite place to eat in and around Winston-Salem?
Oh, well.
I can think of 3 or 4 places.
My favorite right now is Putters.
Putters? All right.
Laid back. The guys are good friends of mine.
And this is over near the Coliseum.
over near the Coliseum.
Right.
It's a hidden jewel in this town, if you
So,
ask me.
and what's interesting is no one ever, you're the first guest that's ever been on that hasn't said their own restaurant. So I mean, I'm thinking Fratellis, Three Bulls, My Fry. You might even occasionally check out one of Sammy's places, Sam places or whatever.
I eat here daily,
Right?
all right? But I like to go out and see other places and get taken care of instead of me cooking it and serving it to myself. And Winston-Salem has a great food scene, and I feel that a lot of times it's underestimated. We've had a
Right.
few James Beard nominees with Peyton Smith at Mission, and we're finally getting on the block where we're becoming a food town. Not people don't leave Winston-Salem no more for dinner; they stay in Winston.
Oh, and you heard there what Flo's putting somebody up in the tower
Yeah,
there? That's going to be interesting.
Downtown's. It's funny. I grew up. You didn't want to go downtown.
Okay, we talk about that. That's a question I usually
All right.
ask near the end is you lived here long enough, you've seen what 3 o'clock in the afternoon, no one was, after that, no one was downtown.
Yeah, I didn't go downtown as a kid or growing up, or and then here's downtown.
Now wait, now
that
you did
flourished.
go. Your mom would take you downtown, like Bocock Stroud, before they moved over to.
Wow, that's bringing it back.
Remember
Yeah,
before they
yeah,
moved over
wow.
across from the Coliseum?
Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Or J.C. Penney to get shoes.
Yes, yes. So, and then that was it, And now it's some great dining places. I love the downtown feel.
Yeah.
You feel like you're in this big city.
Yeah.
COVID put a damper on it a little bit, but it's coming. It's reviving. Restaurants are still opening.
Yeah.
Monday night's my day off usually, and it's hard to find a restaurant that's open on Monday nights right
Yeah,
now.
I've noticed that. I actually, have done some stuff on Mondays. Oh, we'll go to 3. We'll go to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
So Monday, it's we used to be 7 days a week, all of my restaurants, and we found out that, through the staffing crunch and we need a day off to where our phone's not going to ring.
It's just like Adam Andrews. Adam has,
Well,
hey, we're going to take this day off, and it turns out that it's actually not a great week to have taken off because it's one of his best weeks of the year, but he'd already promised his
out.
staff off. Yeah.
And Young Cardinal, another great restaurant here in town, great brunch. Adam does an unbelievable job. I've known him for years. I've done business with his wife for years too. So great people.
Is she your rep?
She is my rep.
Oh my gosh.
She was my first
I am
rep
so
here in
sorry for
Winston-Salem
you.
24 years ago.
So Allison, Adam, and my wife Catherine and I, we played on the same volleyball team together because one of my friends is Jeff Grizzle, who also worked at U.S. Foods.
Yeah.
So we've all had the Gary Snowman experience there.
Oh wow, Gary.
Yeah.
Snow. That's
So-
a name from the past.
Yeah, so we've got. I want to come back to the restaurant thing because I think you were very nice in saying another restaurant, but I'm sitting in one of my favorites here.
Thank you.
And I want to talk about what the difference is, and maybe you can tell me what the Fratelli salad.
The secret ingredient.
Yeah, right. Sugar. But now, so then. You said Monday's your day off. Obviously, you've got a daughter, you got your wife. What do you guys like to do for fun?
Monday's a day to catch up for me.
Right.
I love to play golf when I have time, but it takes few hours, and
Right.
it's tough to get away. Go out to dinner, go out to lunch when we can. Spend time around the house, obviously. My parents live across the street from me, so I love going to my mom's house to eat dinner on Monday nights.
So Monday night is your night to Mom takes care of it.
Yeah, every now and then I have to call her and say, "Look, Mom, I'm not coming over," and
Right.
she's not too happy about that, but she enjoys it.
Right. Cool. All right, so let's go back to the restaurants because I've asked the 3. I've got 2 more that I'll ask near the end, but with the restaurants, they're 3 completely different concepts. Okay.
I have one more in High Point. Don't forget.
I don't even know about that one. What's that one?
It's called Sammy G's Tavern.
Sammy. Okay. Did that used to be McPherson's?
No.
Okay, but there was a place called McPherson's over in High Point. And I'm
yeah.
like,
I got my start in High Point. I opened up my first restaurant in High Point 23 years ago.
okay.
It was a small little pizza shop that I had opened after a restaurant here in Winston that I ran called
Okay.
Louis Blues.
All right, so we're going to go back. So,
All right.
so rather than ask you about the restaurants, let's go back to this. So here's what we're doing. We're getting out of school at in what Charleston.
Charleston.
All right. You come to Asheville and you go to work for the Cecils.
Yeah, I go work at the Biltmore Estate. Great experience.
They have no money.
They have no
Very
money.
poor.
No.
Not able to afford anything.
No traffic goes onto their estate.
Yeah.
It's amazing. One of the busiest days there was the I was there probably the first 3 weeks I was there. It snowed probably 4 or 5 inches.
Right.
So I pick up the phone and say, "Are we open today?" And they're like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
we open all the time." And I was like, "Okay, that's kind of weird, you know."
Right.
And it was one of the busiest days I was there because I didn't realize how many people like to take pictures of the home. And at the time, I was at the Stable Cafe. So
Right.
Stable Cafes are off to the side of the house. So walking up, looking at the house that morning with the
Right.
white snow everywhere, untouched, it was unbelievable.
So the Stable Cafe's over where like the ice cream parlor is
Yeah,
and all that kind of
exactly.
stuff. And then now, of course, we go back and we've got the hotel and the
Winery.
winery and over there.
So after the first few weeks at the Stable Cafe, they moved me over to the winery at a restaurant called the Bistro.
Right.
Cool experience. Mr. Cecil would walk in through the kitchens, just like
Right.
I do in my restaurants.
Right.
Shake everybody's hands and talk to everybody.
Right.
Nobody was too low on the totem pole for him, and I learned a lot about that.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I thought that was unbelievable.
And they're two brothers.
Yeah. They're
Right.
Mr. Cecil, I believe, passed away. The two brothers now run it.
Right.
One's doing more of the home, the Biltmore estate. The other one's doing a lot of development up in Nashville, which,
So yeah. So it's William is the one that owns the estate.
yeah.
Sorry about that.
No.
That's why he gave me water. And so I don't know which is the one that I would rather have. Okay. One inherits the estate.
And when it inherits
And
a
the
bunch of
other
land.
inherits the dairy road and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
yeah.
And so like every property on there is a build to suit.
Yeah.
So they don't own that property.
Correct.
Right. So like McDonald's out in front of the Biltmore
Which is one of the nicest
is a
McDonald's
land
in
lease.
the world. Exactly.
It's a land lease.
Yeah.
And so which one?
Would I rather be?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Because like, do you want people tromping through the house?
Yes.
Or do you just like, yeah, whatever?
I think the real estate side of it.
think, yeah.
I mess with real estate, some commercial real estate. So I think that side of it, I would enjoy it, especially when it was given,
Right.
inherited, not
Right.
given, but inherited. And they've done. They're Asheville. I mean, the things they do to Asheville and for Asheville is unbelievable.
My buddy lives in that development where they went in and it's
The Ramble.
no, it's where the YMCA is and all the stuff around it, and there's like a couple fishing places and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, let's
Yeah.
build some stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, it's crazy.
It's a great town. And when I moved up there,
You could afford something.
I could afford something now. You can no longer. But we go up there a lot. My in-laws still live up there.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a cool place to get away.
We had a condo on Chun's Cove for
Mm-hmm.
for the business down there. We had where the Napa Auto Parts store is downtown on Broadway,
Uh-huh.
and we just sold it a couple years back. But I mean, Catherine and I were looking in Asheville. It's a great place. Wanted to maybe get a place there. I couldn't afford this table in Asheville at that
I
point.
agree. The coolest thing about Asheville, like I tell people, you can be downtown, Pack
Mm-hmm.
Square, where it's hustle and bustle and people everywhere.
Yep.
And you can get in your car and drive 5 minutes and be on top of a mountain, looking down at that area.
Yep.
You know,
It is just a great place.
It's paradise, and people are moving there from all over the world right now.
And I'm going to get like hate mail on this one, but it is truly a food mecca and a beer mecca. And you know what's interesting?
I'm gonna disagree with you.
So are we.
So are we. Exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah. You know, Asheville, Raleigh, Charlotte gets all the food press when
Right.
you ask me for the state. But we're getting there. We're gonna shine too.
Oh, I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, look at, and I've got to get him to be on. He said he would, but I mean, 600. What a cool
Unbelievable.
concept. Right.
Unbelievable.
You know, you go down there, that was a coal pit.
Yeah.
And now all these other restaurants are in there.
Yeah. So we're coming up slowly, but we're going to get there. We're going to surpass the Asheville's
I think so.
and the Raleighs of the world.
So where do we come from? All right, so we're leaving Asheville now. You get married. What brings you to Winston?
So I leave Asheville and I come run a restaurant for some friends of mine called Louis Blues.
Right, in High Point.
No, here in Winston.
In Winston, that's right. Okay.
Louis Blues is
Where
in
was
the
Louis?
old Steak and Ale building on Stratford Road.
Oh gosh, it's
That
now.
is Pancho Villa now.
And you know, it used to be an Italian restaurant.
Yep, right after Louis Blues.
And guess what? That's where I had my rehearsal dinner.
there you are,
Yeah.
you see?
Crazy.
Yeah. So Louis Blues is cool. Cool concept. It was a high-end seafood restaurant. Nick Carey, George's from Little Richards,
Right.
was one of the owners. George Bamblis from Nitza's Women Apparel were one of the owners. And Dino and Johnny Cortez from the Oak Cloverdale Kitchen were owners.
Right.
They bring me in to run it. Awesome, great experience. I was there for about a year before I went off to High Point to open my first restaurant.
Right. And that was
It's called Giano's.
Giano's, okay?
Giano's was my first place. Like I said, more of a pizza, salad type place.
Right.
And I built it up. I went from 2,500 square feet to about 6,000 square feet
Holy cow.
in 10 years. I got to the point where I was like, wow, I'm never home. I'm living in Winston and driving to High Point. I had a daughter that was born. I said, you know what? I got to rethink this. So that's when I opened up Oso Eats on Jonestown with the Straits boys who own Duke's and the Sherwood.
Right.
Did that for a little bit with those guys. We also opened up 2520 in Clemens.
Hold that.
Okay.
Because that place is oh so good. We'll be right back after this break with more Camel City Chat. Welcome back to Camel City Chat, and I'm here with Sammy G. And Sam, we're talking about Oso Eats, which is one of my dad's favorite places. Of course, it closed, and now the Sherwood. Yeah. And I'm assuming from you worked with them, you aren't in those.
I'm no longer involved in.
So 2520. Still mad that they got rid of the Clemens Strip.
I can help you out with that.
They changed that. I know. They changed their whatever, but I mean their food's still good.
Great location, great atmosphere, great food. We were a part of that. Me and my business partner Johnny Pappas for the first 5 years of it. Then we came off here and opened up Fratellis.
So, Fratellis is you and Johnny Pappas?
And Pete Bucherist. It's with Mayflower.
Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and say it because we've kidded around about this, but I'm noticing that everyone's last name is... Can you help me out with this so I don't look like I'm some horrible person?
It ends with an S.
It ends in an S. So, and you said you got asked this question. What is up with this? It's. I mean, obviously, it's a cultural sense of pride, or hard work, et cetera, and stuff like that. But there are a lot of Greek restaurants.
The Journal did a great story a few years ago on Greek-owned restaurants in this town. We love the hospitality part of it.
Yeah, you like to party.
We like to party. Our weddings are big. Our house parties are big. I'm sure you've seen plenty of.
What is up with the red egg thing around Easter? Oh my God! You can't go down our street.
Easter time, forget it. Yeah. So hopefully we can add to that one day and add more cars. But we invite our families. Our families are big. We love to entertain. We love for you to come to our house. And that's one thing we do here in the restaurant.
When do you want us to come? I mean,
we're
ready, aren't we?
We'll do
Stabler ends up in the back of Sam's house taking pictures and eating free buffalo wings.
Yeah.
What the heck's up with this?
Again, we love to showcase ourselves in our homes, but I grew up. My mother, we lived off of Burke Mill,
right,
in a probably 1,500 square foot home. My mom would have 200 people invited to our home, and she was the greeter at the door, the host. She was the cook. She was the bartender. She was everything. That's what we grew up with. Right. We learned that. Now, when it comes to the restaurant business, a lot of Greeks first came to this town looking for work.
Right.
They started as dishwashers, Town Steakhouse, Sam's Gourmet, and finally branched off and opened up their own locations. And from those first 5 restaurants, we probably have, 50-some Greek-owned restaurants here in this town.
I know the man that put Sam's Gourmet out of business.
Wow. Shame on you.
Now, his name was Earl Martin, and they had that all-you-can-eat salad bar or whatever.
I remember that.
He took every salesperson that came into our business to Sam's Gourmet.
Yeah.
They used to have the ad in the paper, and then there would be the little coupon or whatever.
Yeah.
He said, I put that place out of business.
I believe it then.
Yeah, but that was just such a great place. And you're saying all these things. I had the weirdest thing. Now, obviously, you can tell I have ADD. Had a guy in my office named Lonnie. Lonnie is 7470 was his call numbers, right? I need to interview him. He's the guy that called in the K&W.
Fire. Wow.
Yeah. He was in my office.
I remember that.
He was in my office about a week or two ago. And see, a lot of people don't remember all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then I asked somebody the other day, I said, hey, how long have you lived here? Oh, you wouldn't remember this, but
It was a Howard Johnson, right?
No, the Howard Johnson's was where the BB&T building is.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was, but there was the Normandy Lounge was in there because my brother was a DJ.
Wow.
But then there was a gas station across the street that's now where you cut through to get to
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. All right, so we just need to keep talking.
Sam's Gourmet was awesome.
It was a great place.
And it's funny. So I still own a restaurant in High Point, like I said, Sammy G's. And we just finished the furniture market. So twice a year, people from all over the world come to High Point, the furniture shop. It's amazing how many people ask me if I remember Sam's Gourmet. Mm-hmm. And Sam's Gourmet's probably been closed 30 years.
At least.
Unbelievable place. Produced a lot of great chefs and new restaurant owners in this town.
Well, Adam Andrews was what at
Town and Country.
the place Town and Country in
In King.
In King.
Yeah,
Yeah.
another great institution.
He may be Greek. He doesn't know it. I mean,
He's probably,
yeah.
there's some, but you know, there's a lot of institutions in town. They've been here for years. Grecian Corner down the road,
Yeah.
been here years. Clement's Kitchen, Pete's Family Restaurant.
Yeah, and then you go out into Louisville, you got the Liberty.
Liberty.
Yeah.
And
You got
generation-
Westtown.
Westtown, and generations are just, you know, take it over. And most people I grew up with did not want to get in the restaurant business growing up. And that's
Why?
one thing my parents told me, do not get in this business.
Well, look at, I mean, you know, oh gosh, Goodies.
Goodies, yeah.
You've got the two kids now working with Dad.
Yeah.
It's like, what's
Yeah.
going to happen there? I'm sad that we lost Lighthouse.
Yes, and Harold's a very good friend of mine,
Yeah.
and I grew up with him. Lighthouse was one of my favorite restaurants. The
Yeah.
chocolate pie it brought me back to childhood every time, and I'd always get it no matter how full I was leaving there.
Have you ever thought, and I'll take this as a cut of this, or just let me eat that day. Have you ever thought about going back, and you know, we've reminisced about all these different restaurants. Have you ever thought about going, hey, you know what? I'm going to do the Lighthouse Pie, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, and have like a tour of Winston. You could
Pretty
do it
cool.
as a fundraiser for like Sika back here, and have a tour of Winston, and have Sam's Gourmet type, you know, salad bar.
Yeah.
And
It's funny you say that because when we took over this property, we wanted to take it back to Staley's.
right.
We wanted to cook in the fireplaces and the fire pits again. The old relish tray.
Right.
We wanted to do that. Now the city wasn't going to let us cook in the fire pits anymore, but
Right.
that's Winston-Salem. You remember that? We finally got the bull back.
Yep.
Not the bull that was here.
Right.
We got a similar bull, but I mean,
And now that bull's in Clemens.
that bull's in Clemens.
Yeah.
So funny story. My family growing up ran and owned a restaurant called Pine Ridge right down the road.
Mm-hmm. Familiar
So
with it.
after church on Sundays, we would go down and roll the road and go eat at Pine Ridge. It was my uncle and my godfather who owned the Pine Ridge. And used to tell my parents, I want to have a restaurant one day with a big bull out front.
Right.
So for years I had the restaurant, but I didn't have the bull. So I finally got a hold of the bull.
Right.
And I did everything I could to get it over here. And it was an epic week to get it in here.
Yeah. And then didn't it get stolen or something?
No, our bull never
Your
got
bull
stolen.
never got stolen.
And it never will. We made sure of that.
Yeah, it's
We made sure of that.
yeah. At night they turn a switch on. It's electrified or something like that.
Exactly.
All right, so I want to talk about your restaurants, and then I want to go more into you. And this is from earlier. And let's go. Sammy G's is what?
All right, Sammy G's is a tavern.
Right. And is it a nod to Sam's Gourmet in a sense, or no, not
nothing
at all? It's just because of your
Nothing at
name,
all.
right?
Just
Yeah,
because
okay.
of me. So Sammy G's is a concept that I've had a restaurant there for the past 12, 13 years. The first restaurant that initially when I built it was a high-end seafood restaurant.
Right.
Katrina came around and kind of ruined anything seafood back then.
Right.
So I changed it to Sammy G's Tavern. More comfort food from a filet to oyster salad. The menu's kind of really very broad, large menu. It's a gathering spot.
Right.
It's a tavern.
Right. Okay.
Fast-paced, open lunch and dinner. It's fun.
And then you go a little bit bigger, tavern slash, different version of this place, and we go
Three Bulls.
the old Big Shots
The old
place.
Big Shots, yeah.
Yeah, you got that room to the side there,
Yeah.
which I remember when they collected money from some of the investors or whatever to build that onto the side
Yeah.
of it because everyone was
Were
like,
you an investor?
Nope.
Okay.
No, it was not. No.
Because if you're investing, we need to sit back and talk.
Well, what are we going to talk about now? Get my steak
Yeah,
and
exactly.
get the wine. But so from there, tell me about what Three Bulls is.
So Three Bulls is a steakhouse as well. We call it our American steakhouse.
Right.
With more of the burgers and smoked ribs and wings and stuff like that. We didn't want to do it on Fratellis because we want our two steakhouses to compete with each other,
Right.
which they do. Fratellis is a little more people look at it as a higher statue or something. It's more of a special occasion place.
Right.
Three Bulls is priced right. It's in a great location. It's a part of town that continues to grow.
During the pandemic, I called up, we got our orders, pick them up, take them home.
Yeah.
Great food, salmon. I mean, just phenomenal stuff.
So Fratelli, Three Bulls when we first opened, we've had some hiccups there. Just a tough location. We're not on the main road.
Right.
And we knew that going into it.
Right.
But we knew putting a good product on the table would showcase it.
Right.
Let me turn that music off.
We can do it in the next break. How much time we got left, Stabler? 5 minutes, okay.
So before the pandemic, we things were kind of rocky, you know.
Right.
After the pandemic, we regrouped. We even talked about changing concepts at one time.
Right.
And now it's doing great. We're probably 40-some%
You are
up.
packed every time
Not
I drive
enough.
by that.
Not enough. It's a small parking lot.
Right. It's a small parking lot. I mean, there's still. It's just like here. You just gotta plan ahead sometimes to come here, but
Yeah.
then you can also pick something up. So I mean, I'm not
Yes.
discouraging anybody to go to either place, but you know, when I drive by there going home, I'm like, it brings me joy because I know you are doing well.
A lot of hard work, a lot
And
of
your staff.
blood, sweat, and tears. But at the end of the day, it's the staff.
Yep.
All the traffic we have in our locations and the product that we produce is all staff. We cannot do it by ourselves.
Right.
There's 3 owners. We have 150 some employees.
Mhm.
So we're in our restaurants daily, but they're the ones helping us.
All right, and let's do this. What we'll do is we'll take the break now so we can get rid of
The background.
who's this? I'm trying to be Sinatra, but it's not. But no, so we'll do that, and then we'll come back, and I want to talk about this place too.
Perfect.
All right. We'll be right back with more Camel City Chat. Welcome back to Camel City Chat. Sammy G and I are talking about all kinds of things in the restaurants and reminiscing about Winston-Salem, and I really like this restaurant.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't get here as much as I want to. In fact, when I told my wife I was interviewing, she's like, "Well, go ahead and make a reservation for that night after." But this is one of my date night places to eat.
Thank you.
It's phenomenal. I mean, I've even eaten. You haven't had space, so that people know this. I've eaten in the bar before because and I'll tell you, I like the strip. I love the Brussels sprouts,
Good choices.
and you have to get the salad.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the Krispy Kreme bread put into. Have you had that?
I just lost 35 pounds. Don't be talking about no Chris. Yes,
So
I've
we
had
need
that.
that.
So
Those, what you just said is Fratellis. You
Right.
know, we do little things a little different with our beef. Our strips, for instance, we take almost all the fat off of it.
Right.
There's not a fat cap or anything on
Right.
it. We cook at a very high temperature. We use top quality ingredients, and we've had staff in our kitchen that have been here since the day we opened.
So, and I was surprised. I was at Three Bulls, and one of the waiters from here
Is over there now.
is over there now. Yeah,
Probably Al Goodman.
it is the good man.
So he worked with me at Louis Blues 24, 20, whatever it is, 23
Right.
years ago.
Yeah,
Al's amazing. He's worked in every single property
Yep.
that I've had.
and the way that I always would remember him was like, because I'd call in. Is it Daniel that used to be up front, or who was?
I don't know.
I-
Maybe.
there was a guy that used to be up front. He was like the assistant manager. I cannot remember his name, so I'll figure who that was. And so I'd call in, and then I'd say, and I need the good man, please.
So he knew exactly.
Yeah, Al Goodman. Yeah.
Good, awesome.
Yeah, and then I saw him. I'm like, wait, what? He goes, I'm over here now.
Oh,
John.
you're talking about Charlie Smith that was
Or,
here.
no, Dennis or.
Oh, there was a dentist here
There was
for
a
a little
dentist,
bit.
yeah,
too. Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that was it, and then, but no. So tell me, what is Fratellis? Because obviously everyone wants you to be Staley's again.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's back.
They wanted us to be. Well, here's the thing with Staley's. The restaurant before us was a sports bar called Old Staley's.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to name it Staley's
Right.
after that. And when it went from a steakhouse to a sports bar, and if we went back to Staley's name with another steakhouse, we knew this property had to be a steakhouse.
Right.
That's what people remember it as.
Right.
Now, at the time when we were opening, beef was at its all-time high.
Right.
We were like, all right, what do we get into? We're going to sell the most expensive product on the market right now. So we said, you know what? An Italian steakhouse. Italian, warm, good feeling, fulfilling food, fill you up. Perfect. So we found the way to merge the two.
Right.
At the time, there was not many Italian steakhouses. Now they're popping up because people have learned that they got to have two different food costs to balance and try to make some money.
And what is it? Delmonico? Is that what's that? What's the
There's
the big one? Because I actually had that.
the tomahawk.
Yeah, but I had this in actually Italy. There's like an area of Italy that you get like the huge like 22 ounce.
I'm Greek, you know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but I'm asking. Okay, Fratelli's is a what? Italian steakhouse. I'm asking you an Italian question
He got
about
all that.
steak. All right, so
You're right.
you're Greek.
Yes, you're correct.
So, but basically, just amazing, cut of meat, and I forget what it was. But now with you guys, You do you do tomahawks?
Yes, we do a tomahawk rib, about 42
See, I don't
ounces.
go that. I don't go that
That's what
big.
you need.
Yeah. I'd eat it
But
too. I would eat
it's
it.
good eating. It's a lot of eating.
Yeah.
It's a good steak to share.
If I finish it, do I get it free?
No, you take the bone home with you.
Okay,
You
for the
give it to your
dog.
dog, exactly.
So, all right, let's talk about something that is, you know, there was Sunny Italy. Do you remember Sunny Italy up on the way to, and then now what is it? There's Kitchen Roselli.
Oh yeah, oh
All right.
yeah.
So the Roselli family had Sunny Italy and the Sunny Italy salad and all that
Uh-huh.
kind of stuff. I love that thing. The apples, the walnuts, all this stuff. What's in the
Fratellis
salad?
It's iceberg lettuce.
okay?
All right.
Cold.
Cold
It's
iceberg
the
lettuce.
steel. What is the
Yeah,
thing
the
made
pewter
out of?
bowl.
Pewter bowl, right?
Yeah, that's where we put your salad in. Iceberg lettuce, Granny Smith apples, mozzarella cheese, feta cheese, cranberries, and candied pecans.
And the dressing's
And the
made
house
with,
dressing.
And the
It's made-
dressing's made with.
The dressing's made with a lot of love.
He isn't gonna tell me.
Now-
That's the secret ingredient.
That's the secret
Your
ingredient.
mom's love, right?
Yeah,
Where'd you get the recipe from?
The recipe was a dressing that me and a friend of mine put after college. It's actually right before I came to Louis Blues.
Really?
Louis Blues had the exact same dressing, actually.
Wow.
But it's a cool salad. It's a family salad. It's put down on the table. It's made for you to dig out of and talk and communicate. And so is our bread. Our bread's pulled apart. It's not little rolls.
Right.
That's what we wanted. We wanted that family style atmosphere. But yeah, the salad is awesome. When we first opened up, people wanted ranch and they wanted Roquefort or blue cheese and Thousand Island and French. We're like, this is the only dressing we have. We now have other salads with other dressings.
Correct. And it still is like it's funny because you'll ask and you go, well, what salad dressing should I get when you're with someone else?
Yeah.
What do you? I'm like, just get the
the
whole
house.
salad.
Yeah, just
Right?
get the house.
Yeah. Don't make it complicated.
Correct.
This is good.
Correct.
And so it's interesting to me because I didn't know that you had partners in some of the different things. I thought this is your place, but I mean obviously it's your place.
Yeah.
But so my next question was going to be like, so you partnered up with somebody, but you've said no,
So with this location and Three Bulls, Pete Bucheris,
right?
me and Pete grew up together from 5 years old. Went to Bishop McGinnis together. Went to Reynolds together. Best friends our whole lives. Played soccer together. We always wanted to open a restaurant together. He was with the Mayflower down in Peters Creek and all over the state. He's probably opened up 12 different restaurants or 12 Mayflowers. So we said, let's finally do something. Well, at the time, me and Johnny Pappas were partners in High Point. And I said, well, if I'm going to do this restaurant with you, I'm going to bring Johnny aboard as well. Johnny came from Charlotte. He's now married and lives here in Winston, obviously. And it was a great team, and sky's the limit from there.
So the question was then going to be, so then you partner up with
All
Sam Ballas.
with
And-
Mafra.
Yeah, and so that was like, oh, well, what's this like? But obviously you've done this before. So tell me about My Fry, because we talked to Sam about it, and I know that now we're further down. So this was a football player that had an idea?
A golfer.
A golfer, that's it.
A golfer had a French fry concept, top fries, and actually did very well with it to start off. He opened up probably 5, 6 locations across the country.
Right.
It was a franchise model. He got into a little. He needed some help with some direction and got us involved.
Right.
And then we ended up buying it out.
Right.
Buying the majority of it. And then COVID hit.
Right.
Because before they were called Get Fried.
Right.
And they were mostly in food halls and food courts of malls and stuff like that.
Great concept for a college town.
Great.
Right, yeah.
COVID hits, they started dwindling away because the malls were pretty much shut down and there was not a lot of traffic out. We said, all right, what if this happens again? What are we going to do? We can't be just French fries and top French fries. So we said, all right, let's have some fun with this. Let's retool it. Let's reimagine it. And that's where My Fry came from. We added sliders. We added milkshakes.
That's my favorite. Go ahead.
And it's doing real good. And we're actually, there's one here in Winston-Salem. We're getting ready to expand a little bit.
Okay.
Add a little more dining and expand the menu a little bit. Hopefully by December, we'll have it.
Because it's interesting as a concept. Okay, so first of all, the funny thing is my dad was called when we used to be out on Armstrong Drive and was offered to buy the property that is now the Village Tavern,
Well,
Best Buy, all that
I grew up
stuff.
behind there. It was a big cow farm.
And turned it down because we would have been too leveraged. You know, my dad said, I'll do that. So I keep reminding him about you couldn't have spent that money. And
There's your land inheritance right there.
So could not believe that all of a sudden there's an Academy Sports there, and there's the Guitar Center, and
That place has exploded.
You've got 4 restaurants right there with you. You go, you guys, Duck Donuts,
Taco Mama.
Taco Mama.
Viva Chicken.
Don't forget they have the margarita special day.
I stopped there a lot.
Viva Chicken.
Yeah.
So we found on the Viva Chicken thing, Catherine will be on that side of town. She's gone in and gotten like for $20 some odd, they do it on one night of the week. You get the platter, and it's got everything to make tacos at home.
Oh, cool.
And it's like $25 or less. And you know, Adam did some of that stuff during COVID. They're doing that. But my fry, what I like about it is to me it's poutine.
Yeah.
You know, because I have friends from Canada, and it's
Yep.
like, oh, you get that, you put stuff on top of the fries. That's
Exactly.
it. So
Another thing, when your wife's over there, she can come and get a dozen of our sliders
oh,
and take them home and nibble on them as long as you want. I mean, they're awesome to sit and put on a table and just eat.
that sounds like something I'm gonna be doing
So,
this week.
yeah, my fries a fun concept. I've never done a fast casual. It's my first fast casual.
Right.
So figuring that out has been tricky, but we're there. We're doing good, and we're expanding. And
What are the challenges with a fast casual?
smaller footprint.
Okay.
You know, smaller ticket. You know, if Fratelli serves a $50 steak, I'm serving a $3 slider. You know,
Right.
we try to get more people in that concept. With Fratelli's, we want you to sit down, and if you want to spend 3 hours here, go right ahead, as long as you keep purchasing. Let's say,
Right.
you know. So that's been a little tough. How small it is, and how everything's keep it together and close. So we finally figured out the space we need is where with our expansion. Need a little more seats in there, which is going
Right.
to help us. And a drive-through eventually one day. So
Okay.
that's going to be pretty fun coming soon.
Yeah, and you know, I've always heard this, and is this the most expensive thing in your restaurant?
The free water
Yeah,
or the glass?
the free water. Because I mean, you pay for it. I
Yeah.
expect to get it for free, and
Water's tricky.
yeah,
You know, we've tried a lot of bigger cities to try offering water,
Right.
you know, bottled still or sparkling at the table. But it's kind of hard. It's kind of like if you come in here and order another round of bread, I can't charge you for that.
right.
That's me, you know. That's
It's
something
like
that we'll
going-
put on the table.
It's like going to a Mexican restaurant
getting
and not getting
chips.
free chips and salsa.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, what the heck
Yeah,
happened?
what happened here,
So
yeah.
it's an assumption.
Exactly.
Now, you have, and I don't think everybody knows this, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you have 6 dining areas? 5 dining
in
areas
here,
in
I
here.
don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Five.
5. And what's funny is, so before COVID, we were planning a major expansion or
Right.
renovation here at Fratelli's. So COVID hits and completely take it off the table. Now we've re-brought it up. We've got some blueprints drawn out, and hopefully we'll start some renovations here soon.
So renovations,
Soon, summer soon. Hopefully. If everything works out.
expansion or
Expansion, expansion and retweaking some of our dining rooms, changing up the bar area a little bit. Off behind the fireplace here is a outdoor patio. We want to close it in for a banquet room.
I was going to say that's the first thing that I could see happening because you don't have a big lot footprint,
Yeah.
so you have to be careful there. I'm like going, are you going up or are you going out?
We're going out, and that's the tricky part now. You know, if we add more seats in here, you know, with a parking lot to hold it, you know.
Hey, the government will let you know that one.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And you know, do we need a sprinkler system? That's where we're at now. We're trying to get all those I's dotted and those T's crossed.
So we've had Trey on from the fire chief. I already know what your sprinkler
Okay,
system
well, you might have to
going to be.
give me a phone call.
Yeah, no, he's going to want you to have a sprinkler system. But no, you're going to have to keep your renovation or your expansion at a certain percentage so that it doesn't kick some of those things in. But no, I heard I think it was a 350 or 375 house now that if you went out and built a $375,000 house, like 20 to 30,000 of that is fees that are imposed
Really?
on by municipalities and stuff like that. And what people don't know is you first of all, you're paying taxes on the building and it's the parking lot. You're paying taxes on every wage in here. You're paying taxes on the tips, et cetera, and all those kind of things.
The cells.
And then sales tax, hospitality tax, whatever is in there
Yeah.
for you. Then you know, if you do anything that goes up, out, or whatever, there's a formula they have downtown that tells you, oh, for every X number of people, you have to have this many spaces.
Exactly, and toilets and,
Yeah.
and exit. So it gets tricky. You know,
Right.
it's like you put everything in this formula and you spit it all out, and hopefully it comes out and everything's going to work.
Right, and if someone had a good day at work,
Then you get
then
past.
you're okay.
Yeah,
If they have a bad
exactly.
day at work,
Exactly
they,
right.
You know,
yeah.
but I mean, because we're all human beings. I mean,
Yeah.
we're kidding around, but that's true.
It's the truth, you know, and it's hard, you know. How much can you do before you got to start looking for somewhere else? This is an iconic building.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere.
We're invested in the real estate.
Yep.
We're partnered in the property as well. So we're right here in front of Wake Forest University. Wake Forest has almost everything around us.
Right.
Wake Forest is a huge supporter of Fratellis.
Yep.
All the athletic teams do their recruiting in here. Their team meal, a lot of their team meals in here. Georgia basketball just had an email that they want to come in the night before and eat dinner here. So it's
Now, do you like put anything in their food before they play Wake?
no, no. But you know what? We're big Wake fans and
so-
Wake
so, I mean,
Wake
do you,
supporters.
Do you
now.
run anything? I mean, I'm kidding, of course. No, I mean, I really, honestly, the only thing that you could do is maybe pile the parking lot and go up above that, and then have some sort of bridge that takes you up to a banquet room over there, so you've got your parking spaces.
You know, I don't know how we're gonna figure it out. It's above my pay grade and thought process.
I'm not going to be
right
an investor
now.
in that one,
Yeah,
by
that's
the way.
all- that was my
I was
another
waiting
question.
for it. Yeah.
If you want to build a parking deck, but you know, we'll figure something out. We'll make something to where it's the right thing for Fratellis. We've been in it 9 years, so we know exactly what we
And
need
see,
and
that's
what
what's
works.
funny is no one thinks this is 9 years because the building's been here forever.
Yeah.
And the Bull's been out there for longer than
We
that.
just put it on the opposite side so it can showcase that it's a new restaurant.
Okay, that's what it is.
That's why we put it over there. But you know, the awning's original.
right.
The awning is there was two parts to that awning. When we came here, we found the wrought iron thrown behind the restaurant, and
Really?
it was like 20 different colors. It was rusted. It was falling apart. We got it redone, and we said we got to use this somewhere. So we threw it out front. It was the piece that didn't catch fire with the
Right.
Frankie Rollins fire. So that's original wrought iron out there.
That's crazy. Well, let's take one more break, and then we're going to come finish up and talk about Winston and memories and that. First, I mean, we still got 15 more minutes, but I can't thank you enough for doing this. This has been fun.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to be right back with more Camel City Chat. Welcome back to Camel City Chat. We have just been having fun, and you know, we've been here like 40 some odd minutes, and Stabler, we've probably been talking like an hour and 15 minutes with you, just kidding around and talking and stuff, and so I kind of don't know where I want to go with what we've been talking about. But you've been very complimentary and saying you've been having fun. But I mean, you asked a question, and let's talk about that, and that is, why do we do this? I want people to know, holy crap, I forgot about Fratellis. I want to go there and eat.
Thank you.
I want you to be successful. And I want you to be successful because this is Winston-Salem. I don't want people to drive to this city or that city. See, I'm running for state realtor president now. So you notice I didn't
There's
say
your plug,
specifics.
yeah.
Specifics there. But no, I don't want people. I want them to know that we have what we need here.
Very true.
And then, going to someplace else is a treat or something. But you know, if you're going out once a week, and if you're on a budget, if you're splurging because it's a thing, you personally cover that gamut. But then with your friends, you really cover that gamut.
True. And you know, it's keeping people in Winston-Salem to eat dinner or to entertain or celebrate something special, but also look all the towns and communities around Winston-Salem.
Right.
Getting them to come in here at Fratellis. We get customers come from North Wilkesboro and
Yep.
Lake Norman. Come here. Don't go to Charlotte. Don't go to the bigger cities. We want it here. We look. People always say, "Oh, that's a franchise," and somebody in Texas is profiting off it. Yeah, but the workers in there are everyday local people here in Winston-Salem. So you have to support them.
With your concept here, and I know that you are a franchise, but you're really not. I mean, you're
Not there yet.
yeah. I mean, this. So let's look at this. So when we take, what is your best day you think at Fratellis? I'm thinking that it can be one of like three. It's
ahead.
Mother's Day, graduation,
Okay.
or homecoming.
Graduation.
It's graduation.
Mother's Day is great too. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Graduation excuse. We're booked up this year's graduation already.
So we're talking
Sunday night.
May.
May.
May is booked up.
We're for Wake Forest graduation. We're about a year and a half out.
And that's what's funny. So what people don't realize is we were setting up and turning the music off and stuff like that. I'm like, I need to make a reservation. And you're like, when for?
Yeah.
You weren't kidding, and you knew I wasn't either. Because
Reservations highly recommended.
Yeah, highly recommended. It's easy to do online too.
Easy to do online. Call the restaurant or whatever. We recommend reservation on the bigger days. It's funny. Valentine's Day, Mother's Day is the biggest restaurant days of the year.
Right.
And you'll get people that call 2 hours before and say, "Can I make a reservation for 7 o'clock?" And it's like, should have called a month ago or a week, So I always recommend. But it's good because it's easy for us to plan. It's easy for us to say, okay, we need X amount of people. Now, we're not 100% reservations. We'll never be 100% reservations. We like walk-ins and we block
See,
off.
I didn't know that. Okay, so you're telling me you're not, so, all right, if we have 100 tables and it's Friday night,
50 will be reservation, 50 will be for walk-ins.
Really?
Yeah.
What
Now,
if 75 people call in the reserve?
We'll put them in the hour slots that we can feed them. So we'll say, all right, this much, the 50 reservations is going to go at 6 o'clock, whatever it is, or 10 at 6 o'clock and 10 at 6:15 and 10 at 6:30. And then the 6 o'clock ones we know will be back up 8 o'clock. So it's a cycle that way.
All right, so now we're getting into the fun stuff. So pay attention here.
Just know Fratellis
and you may
opening
need to
next
answer
door.
this, sir. You may need to answer this. What's the number one requested table in this restaurant?
Oh, probably the first table over there.
Which one?
See, table 10.
Table 10?
Table 10.
And that's the first one as you
First
come in?
one, you can see the kitchen. You can see everybody walking in. You can be seen. You can...
Right, so you come in, you put the shy person against the wall, and then I'd be sitting there going, hey, how's it going?
Passing out business cards.
Yeah, right, yeah, no. This one is requested, though, as winter gets along, right?
Yeah. The fireplaces in this building were the old cooking pit. So the people that remember it, there's people that come in here all the time and say, I had my wedding reception here, or I had my first anniversary here. It's 75 years ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty cool. There's a lot of history in this building.
Where'd you go for prom? It's like
I came here for prom, actually.
Staley's, yeah,
yes.
I think I've done here for something. I know I did Reynolds for some.
And
Ryan's for something. Yeah. We went there the other night for.
I love it.
Yeah.
Ryan's is a place I go. They're direct competition with me. They really are. Well, that's where I go for special occasions. Yeah. That's where we had our Christmas party here for our managers last year.
You guys should flip flop it and say, hey.
Yeah, we should. So Ryan's is cool. They don't build buildings like that. They don't build dining rooms like that anymore. Mm-hmm. So it takes you back and you can remember how you grew up, or remember going to eat there when you turned 16, or for a grandfather's birthday, or.
Well, I've got three for you. 3 questions. One is going to be an interesting one for me to ask, as you're probably going to understand why in a second. But the first one is what effect did COVID and the new chefs have on you? And I say the new chefs because some people learned how to cook during COVID. And now it's like, my wife's like going, that type of stuff. But she was a good cook anyway.
Yeah.
But, so how has that affected you guys? And help.
COVID was a huge rewind, or not a rewind, recycle, let's say.
Right.
We had to think, how do we get food on your table, because you've been home all day and you have time to cook now.
Right.
How do we get food that's going to carry to your home and be warm and be fresh, same like eating at the restaurant?
And we talked with Peyton about that. He's like, my pizzas are not good if you take them out of my restaurant.
And our steaks.
And your steaks, yeah, right.
You order a mid-rare steak and you get it home.
Just get the salmon, folks. It's awesome.
It's mid-well. So
yeah.
COVID was tough.
Right.
But what it got operators to do is think every little thing about their location. Mm-hmm. Think about how the kitchen. How can you produce the covers that you're producing with less staff because they weren't available.
Right.
Now it's a constant supply chain headache. Lettuce right now, iceberg lettuce is probably one of the hardest things to get a hold of, and it's priced at, I don't know, a head's probably what, $4, $5 a piece.
And we also we're now getting ready to have the pigeons come to roost, in the sense of some of our grains and things like that from Ukraine, and then we've had some issues with corn and stuff like that.
Beef
getting
is crazy right now.
And the big one that I heard is $5 a gallon diesel, is they were delivering the food that wasn't the $5. Now we're going to five. Now we're getting ready to have $5 a gallon diesel, $5, and as we get into the fall, we're expecting some food cost increases.
We've already we plan out try to plan out 6 months at a time.
And I'm sure it's because of your food rep, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Allison.
Allison
But
Andrews.
we have to because we're dealing with such an expensive product.
Right.
It's perishable. I can't buy a bunch of it and throw it in a freezer or something and say, oh, it might be good 6 months from now.
Right.
Or in a cooler, it might be good for 6 months from now. So we try to plan. We try to buy smart.
So you're not doing what Groman does. We had him on. He's like, I'm going to stop in this store here and pick something up on the way to work. Hey, that's what we're having. I mean, great. He's an awesome guy. But, I mean, you're doing some of that stuff, but I mean.
We're playing that. And look, Christmas time goes into Valentine's Day, goes into graduation. The next 6 months is our busiest time of the year.
And thank God for Joyce Foods, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
true.
Joyce Farm,
Joyce Farm, yeah.
Yeah,
So we got to make sure we can get enough product.
Yep.
But there was a huge potato shortage about 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Right.
So my fry got hammered on that. We got hammered on that because baked potatoes, French fries, mashed potatoes, list goes on. So, and it's kind of hard to, I mean, you can't take a side of French fries from $1.99 and sell them for $10.99.
Well, you can if you name them Frights. So, you like
That's
that one?
good,
Yeah.
yeah.
The next question is this, and this one is what? Think about back to Winston. We were talking about that. You've seen where Winston's coming. What do you want to see in Winston? What are things that you want to? What do you want us to do?
I've said it in this interview, and I will say it again. Our food. I think this is a great food town. The local food bank has an unbelievable culinary.
Yeah.
With Second Harvest Food Bank in Providence, which I sit on their board with them. They do an unbelievable job.
One of my friends works with them.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
We try to send as much of our staff through there. Yeah. Not a lot of towns have that. We got GTCC right down the road, a great culinary program. Johnson & Wells is in Charlotte, North Carolina, a few miles down the road. So bring people to Winston-Salem, open restaurants, work in our kitchens, and that will bring more to it. A restaurant opens downtown under an office building. Hopefully the office building's full so it can support the restaurant.
Right.
So bring more, let's showcase our food, let's showcase our town. And I've seen Winston quadruple in size in the last 40 years. So hopefully in the next 40 years it'll quadruple a little more, but still be the small Winston-Salem with Clemens that has the Louisville-Clemens Road and everything's coming off of it. That's it.
All right, so
but big, but keep it small and homey.
right, yeah. It's what is it? The biggest it's the smallest big town in America.
You're right,
I mean, it's like how far can you go without knowing somebody?
Yeah, you're right.
All right, so I'm going to ask you this, and again, this is not at your demise.
Okay.
It's when you decide to go home today, tie up, and maybe you say, I don't want to come back and do this. What's Sammy G want to be remembered for?
You know what? I've been that asked before. It's a legacy, also. Obviously, that I want to leave behind. That's why I'm involved in everything I can.
Is your daughter getting into it at all?
She's asked me, does she have to get in the restaurant business? Hopefully not.
Okay.
This business isn't something. It's a lot of hours, a lot of work. Hopefully she won't get in this business, but if she does, hopefully there's a step for her to showcase even more.
And you're a sweep the broom kind of guy, so she's going to be back doing dishes probably to start off with, right?
Yeah. Oh, now she's hostessing,
yeah.
But she picks her schedule. How's that?
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, I have had a little bit of restaurant experience through working with Adams. He's had me come in when we did like a fundraiser or something, or Masonic Lodge. I love dishwashing. Dishwashing is the best job there is in the restaurant.
You know what? You don't have to talk to nobody.
Yeah.
Don't
talk to anybody. Headphones on.
Nobody tells you what you have to do. Just keep them going. So yes, it's true. If I'm washing dishes, it's funny. If I jump back there and wash dishes, I'll wash them for maybe 5 minutes, and there's 5 guys back there helping me.
Yep.
But if I say, hey, can you go wash dishes? They're like, oh, I'm not doing that, So you got to lead by example. Sweep the broom, sweep with the broom, and everybody will follow you.
So the ideal day for you is to wake up, maybe get a little something over at Sammy G's, come to Winston, maybe go get a little My Fry, and then get a libation at Three Bulls before you come and have a steak dinner here.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
And end up at Mom's house.
And
Mom made chocolate pie from
exactly.
Sam Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
we're very lucky to live here.
Yeah.
And I can't thank you enough for doing this. I mean,
Thanks for doing this, like I
Well-
told you, and you're great at what you do, and thanks for showcasing our town, and let's get the word out.
all right, so we got to build a house. We got to do some investments here and all that kind of
Build
stuff.
build a parking deck in the house.
The parking deck, a
exactly.
house, yeah. So again, there's all we'll put the stabler. We'll load up, and you know him. That's the problem
Yeah.
there. I don't know if that was a smart.
That's the
thing.
inside. That's how
Yeah,
I got
that's the
into
inside, right?
this.
Yeah, but no, we'll put all the contacts and hashtags and all that stuff in there. You know Jeff Smith with Smitty's Notes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jeff has been someone that his sponsorship of us is he puts us up on his
awesome.
page whenever we do something. So want to thank him. Go to smittysnotes.com and of course check out all of Sammy's restaurants. It's just a great place.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go make my reservation. Thanks, man.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it. We'll be back next week with more Camel City Chat.